Okay, let's take a look at problem number 3. I am looking at a floor that is 12 1/4 wide. That's the whole floor. But we want to repair it using boards that are 3 1/2 inches wide. So I am cutting up the floor to replace it with boards. So we're taking 12 1/4 and we're dividing it by 3 1/2. In my estimating answer, I want to take 12 because we round it down, and we want to divide it by 4 because we're rounding up, and we know our target is going to be 3. So when I rewrite my problem, 4 1/4, and we're dividing it by 3 1/2, we're looking at these numbers saying that we need to change mixed to improper. So we want to multiply down, add up. And 12 times 4 is 48, plus 1 more would be 49, and our denominator stays the same. We are still dividing, but we're going to change 3 1/2, multiply down, add up, and we end up with 7 halves. Now I want to follow that rule of let's flip the second and multiply. So I'm flipping this part of my problem. So we have 49 fourths, and we're going to multiply by 2 sevenths. Top times top, bottom times bottom. But I notice that I might be able to do some reducing here, especially with these large numbers. 7 can go into 49 7 times. 2 can go into 4 2 times. So now I have a 7 on top and a 2 on the bottom. That is improper, and I can change it back to a mixed, which will be 3 1/2. When we consider our answers and consider the number of boards that we'll take to repair the board, and I look at my answer 3 1/2, when I go to the store and purchase my boards, how many boards will I need to purchase? Well, I need to purchase 4 boards. Now, will I cut some of that last board off and only use half of it or a part of it? Yes. So my answer is 3 1/2 boards, but if I'm purchasing them at a store, I would need 4 whole boards that I would use part of. So my answer here is 4 boards. Let's take a look now at problem number 4 on the back. In problem number 4 on the back, we're looking at George making 8 gallons of tropical punch. In our 8 gallons, I have some pineapple juice and orange juice. And I want to know how much 7-Up will he need to make the 8 whole gallons. So there's different ways I can set up my equation. I'm going to actually set up 2. I'm thinking that I have 8, and I just want to take away to find out what's left to give me 7-Up. So I'm going to subtract 1 3/4, and then I'm going to subtract again 2 1/2. And that is an acceptable equation. But some of you might say, well, I could add 1 3/4 to 2 1/2 and get my total of juice that I have here, group that together, and then subtract it from 8. But my 8 needs to go in the front still, and then I'll be able to subtract everything that I added together and do it all at one time. So either method is great. When I do my estimation and I have 8 and I want to take away, I'm going to estimate this number up here to be 2, and I'm going to subtract again and estimate this number to be 3. So 8 take away 2 is 6. 6 take away 3 will leave me with 3. So we're going to say our estimated answer is about 3. When I do my math over here, I actually want to think about making this problem just a little bit simpler. So what I did is that I took my 8, and I know I'm subtracting 1 3/4, and I'm going to subtract 2 1/2, that I actually converted to decimals because I noticed that they were benchmarks. And I took away 1.75, and I'm going to get an answer there of 6.25. And then I'm going to take away the 2.50 and get an answer of 3.75. Now, answering the question, how much 7-Up? Is that reasonable that I have 3 and 3/4 gallons, or 3.75 gallons. I can either write it as a fraction or write it as a decimal, and that would be reasonable because it's my about number.